So Marvin Sapp appeared on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, explaining about that viral video. Before I begin that, one of the questions I got is, who put out that video? Like, was it a video like when someone recorded it, like when it actually happened, and then it's just been sitting around and then the algorithm popped up? Or did someone record that video and was sitting on it until recently and they uploaded it? Like, does someone really have an axe to grind against Marvin Sapp or something like that, and they sat on the video until recently? Or was the video, or did someone just didn't like what he was doing and recorded it and uploaded it, and then the algorithm months later just kind of kicked in? So that's a question that needs to be asked. Like, who uploaded that video? But anywho, so I got this from X. It says, quote from Marvin Sapp: "I never said lock the doors. I said shut the doors," Sapp said. Marvin Sapp reveals he received death threats over a misunderstanding from a viral video that some claim showed him holding a church congregation hostage for a $40,000 offering. It's just from the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. So first of all, don't do death threats to people. Like, I don't know how you feel emboldened to feel like you should threaten someone's life. And it's not, this is just with the whole Marvin Sapp thing. It's just people are so emboldened these days where they feel like they can threaten someone's life. I can never do that. I feel like if I ever did that, I would get a knock on the door from law enforcement saying like, yeah, we saw your posts and you're under arrest for extortion, or you're under arrest for for assault. Like, what? I was just making a comment. Like, no, like doing death threats is just wrong. Well, first of all, it's just rude. There's nothing. It's hardly, I'm sure there's some things that's so severe that might make you angry enough, but this is not the case. Please, like, I'm trying to save y'all. Don't do death threats. Like, people, when it comes to comments, sometimes people are very mean. But death threats is going too far. So if this is true, because I don't know if this is true, but he said it's true, don't do that. This does not rise to the occasion of death threats. Nothing does, really. So please don't do that. Don't do that. Now, to be honest, to be fair to him also, when it comes to scandals in the church, this is not a high tier scandal. There's been far many things where pastors, like he said, robbed from the church, stole from the church, sexual scandals. If you look on even on the Catholic Church side, I mean, they got their stuff with their priests, from scandals involving their parishioners when they were younger, which is totally horrible. But here's the thing that I always think that churches don't do. They don't hold other churches, other pastors, other religious people accountable. Like, Sapp was saying how, he's being perceived now as a pimp in the pulpit. And he said, that's not me. And he might be absolutely correct. But I think it's on Sapp and other people in the church to hold these other pimps in the pulpit responsible. If someone is saying like, hey, we got a pastor and he's always shaking us down for money, or he's trying to get all this money from us, I think other pastors should say like, hey, man, there's a pastor at this church. These people in this congregation said this is going on. We need to call this person out. He should not be a pastor. He is not doing the words of God. He's doing the words for himself. And they got to call these people out. When you look over the Catholic Church and they had all these young folks when they were younger, they went through all this stuff. And then decades later, the news articles came out and people felt like when they were adults, like I was violated when I was young by this priest, But what happened was back in the day, the church allegedly would hear these priests do these horrible things, and they just move these priests around from church to church, and the next church have no clue what this other guy did in this other city or state, and an abuse just went along for decades upon decades, and they had to pay people restitution because they were violated when they were young. None of this would have happened if they would have just held those people accountable early on. Now that's to the extreme, but I do think if there's pimps in the pulpit, I think it's on pastors and deacons and people, even like someone like Ricky Smiley, saying like, no, we got to expose. If there's a narrative that too many black churches have pimps in the pulpit, well, we got to get rid of those people who exhibit this behavior, because we got to pull that narrative back. So hey, I'm on Sapp's side on that. Now, Sapp did say he did apologize a little bit, but here's the thing. So in the beginning, he said, I never said lock the doors. I said shut the doors. And people have corrected me on that because they said, well, Kevin, He didn't say lock the doors. He said shut the doors. And he said, you're absolutely right. He did not say lock the doors. But he did say shut the doors 3 times. Because he was like, shut the doors. Shut the doors. Shut the doors. He said it like 3 times. And he was very serious. It wasn't like say, hey, ushers, can you go and shut the doors for me? Like, I want to talk to something important to the congregation. It's okay if you could please shut the doors for a few minutes. I need to talk to y'all before we go. He could have said it like that, but no, he was like, shut the doors. Like, he was very serious. If I'm a parishioner, if I'm sitting in that conference, because he said this was from a conference. If I was sitting there, it's like, what is going on here? And you're like, because he never really explained himself. Now, he said that this organization, he's been partners with this organization for a long time. They believed in him probably when he was a younger pastor or a younger singer, and he's only returning the favor. And he was saying like this whole video took place not at his church, because he was just a guest pastor at this conference. It was like a religious conference or a convention or something like that. And he felt like, the way he could pay back is to raise $40,000 for them, just because it costs a lot of money to put this conference on. So which I totally understand it, but he didn't explain it that way. He said we're a small church and we need to raise $40,000. Because even my dad was like, what's the money for? When he saw the video, I was like, what's the money for? I was like, I have no clue. Because Marvin Sapp never addressed what the money was for. If he said like this is a small organization and y'all enjoy the food and the service and all that stuff, but it costs money. My goal is to raise $40,000 for this organization so they can pay the bills. When y'all leave out of here, that's where the real business happens. The bills come in from vendors. We got to pay for this room, and we got enough, but we probably need a little bit more. So if y'all can give whatever y'all can give, we hope to raise $40. So if you have $20, $10, $5, $100, $50, whatever you can give to help us, it'd be greatly appreciated. I think if he phrased it like that, I think some people might have would have donated a lot of money. But when he said, y'all need to raise $20, I need $20 from y'all. I need $100 from the stage. That was a lot. That was a lot. And people probably looked at him and was kind of like, And that's probably where that video came from. I was like, look at this dude try to make us give $20 for what? Because he didn't explain himself. Now let me take Ricky Smiley for a second. So Ricky Smiley and Marvin Sapp are friends. He said, hey, we're friends. So that's totally fine. So Ricky, throughout the whole interview, was the good cop because that's his friend. He don't want to ruin his friendship. That's fine. But he got like 3 or 4 people on his crew. Somebody had to play the bad cop. Not a super bad cop, but I think if I was Ricky, I would say, listen, he's my friend. I'm not going to ask him these tougher questions, but I need some of y'all to ask him from the video, what did he mean by things? So like, Pastor, when you said shut the door 3 times, and he was very stern, why was you so stern? And why did you repeat that 3 times? Pastor, when you said, I want to see the money, use your phone if you have to. What did you mean when you said, like, I want to see the money? Because I'm sure people have questions about that. I would have gone brick by brick from that video, being part of Ricky's staff, answering the questions that Ricky wasn't gonna ask, because that's his friend. And I totally understand it, right? I mean, he should ask tougher questions, friend or not, because you're trying to help your friend, but I understand he don't want to ruin that relationship. But at the same point, someone should have played the bad cop. But hey, Ricky Smiley syndicated. He's making a lot of money. So I'm just some dude on TikTok and YouTube. This guy, Ricky Smiley, makes a lot of money. So whatever he's doing is the right way of doing it, right? But I just feel like if I'm listening to that interview and I have questions about it, I think I just want some of those questions to be answered. I don't think he did a good job. Pastor, why did you ask $20? How can you give people wiggle room over here? Why did you ask the people on stage for $100? That's a lot of money. So I think for some people that would have been a better explanation. And again, Sapp did apologize, but it was like he apologized and then he started talking about other stuff. So I don't think he understood the weight of his words, the weight of the presentation of the video. But I think he kind of got it. But I'm not saying Marvin Sapp is a bad dude. I don't think. I just know him as a gospel singer. That again, there's been Creflo Dollar asked for a jet, so this is not a huge scandal. But I don't think he understood the perception of it, how bad it was to people. So what do you think? Do you think he did a good job of explaining himself on Ricky Smiley? Do you think he should explain more about it? Let me know.